Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be talking about a new addition to the Fantasy Cosmetica eyeshadow palette lineup, and that is the Fighter palette. This is definitely the most neutral palette they have come out with. There's 5 shimmers and one of them is a topper. Feels very soft, silky smooth, and then the other shadows do feel a little bit more of a waxier, slightly thicker kind of formula. So I'm really curious to try them because they looked super dimensional when I swatched them. They have lots of sparkles throughout them and that makes me very excited. Also, they have improved their packaging. Again, the artwork is so beautiful. Love to see a brand making improvements. So let's get right into the 2 looks, and then at the end of the video, I'll give you some of my first impression thoughts. Priming with the Sigma eyeshadow primer in Ignite. I feel like I'm getting a little close to the end here, so I'm just trying, never mind. Well, regardless, I'm going to try to actually finish this primer up. It's not that it's like my favorite or anything. I'm just trying to get through some eyeshadow primers. So I just kind of like to do that when I'm filming looks. Dipping into Valor, I'm gonna pop that right into my lid and bring it up as well into my crease. I'm just gonna take this about halfway on my lid. I feel like my eyes are definitely a little bit dry from all the eye swatching in the last week or so, so ignore any dry patches on my lids. It's just part of the experience. Going in with Warrior, and I'm going to put that onto the outer corner, slightly at an angle. And I'm just going to be leaving it very much for the outer corner. And I like to always pack on first and then blend out, because this way I can kind of control a little bit how far out I blend it. So now I'm going to wipe off this brush. It would actually be even better if I had a cleaner brush, but that is not currently my situation. And I'm just going to take this and now I'm going to start blending it outwards. I would also go in with some sort of a setting powder. Looks like one of my pieces of lash is kind of falling apart on me. So I'm just blending that outwards. I feel like I have a little bit of dryness out here, so that might get caught on the shadow. Have a little bit of fallout. Hopefully I can just blend it away for the most part. Yes, I think pretty successful. I see just a little bit here, but again, I also have a little bit of dry skin happening there. And then I'm bringing Warrior underneath their lower lash line, and I'm only going to take it about 1/3 way in. I don't like to really put eyeshadow too much here. Sometimes I'll do it for a video, but it's really not something I would do on a day-to-day basis for work or just going out and about. This feels like such a fall look. Definitely feeling a little bit more of a fall vibe from this palette. And I picked up Glory on my pinky, and I'm just gonna put that all over. I thought it'd be interesting because it is very blue, so I thought it'd be a nice contrast to especially the orange. And I'm just going to take it all the way across. You could of course stop wherever you feel comfortable. And so that's very topper like, so you can definitely see through a little bit of the color. But I feel like even over the orange it looks really nice. So I'm also going to pop that as my inner corner highlight just a little bit. If I do put eyeshadow on my lower lash line, it will probably be a shimmer, but for this one I think that this kind of needs its own moment, and you can see it just looks wet. It's very shiny. Really, really beautiful shadow. I love these kinds of shadows because you can just let them transform any look into totally something else. So here's the first finished look. To the second look, I prime with the Ignite eyeshadow primer from Sigma, and I'm going to be dipping into Cavalier. And I'm going to pop that right into the crease over here. I kind of really want to play with all of the different shimmer shadows in here. There's lots to choose from, and they're all so beautiful. At first I was like, oh, there's just like neutral bronzy shadows, but up close you can really start to see all the dimensionality in them. So I'm just kind of going to be feathering it out this way, really keeping the most opaque part right here, kind of going about halfway to my lid, and then just blending it out here. I'm going to actually add on a little bit more, the tiniest, just kind of flicking it out since I am going to be doing an eyeshadow wing. Taking Might, and I misted my brush very lightly, but just putting this on, I can already tell it would have been better if I put down some sort of a primer. This is like a almost satin-like shadow with lots of sparkles throughout it from what I can tell. So it's not necessarily like a full-on metallic shadow. You can see all the little sparkles throughout. So I think with anything like this where the sparkles kind of seem to sit on top a little bit, it's for sure usually better to use a tacky primer to just help them adhere better. So just draw on this wing. The brush I'm using is a Hakuhodo brush. Unfortunately, it's got the name rubbed off, or rather numbers, because they use numbers. So I'm just going to extend it a little bit. We're just really going to wing this out. Picking up Victory on a rougher 28 brush, and again I'm just going to lightly mist it and spray my mirror in the process apparently. And I'm going to put that right in the center. That is coming out a little bit sheer than what it swatched. I'm not sure if it's because of the brush application. And I did not mean to take that high up, but it is what it is. So that's got a really nice sheen to it, but I feel like it lost some of the sparkles. So again, use a tacky primer of your choice if you really want to get these to be really, really opaque. So going in with Blade, just a beautiful, smooth, silvery shadow. I'm going to pop that into the inner third of my lid. And then I do kind of want to go back in with this shade. It's just not doing exactly what I wanted to do. So again, I'm going to spray my brush. And I really picked up a lot, and I'm just going to layer it on. So this took about 3 layers here to build up. And then I'm going to go underneath my little lash line and just connect it a little bit. I love the little sparkle down here. Definitely have a little bit of fallout from that shade. I'm not too surprised since it has the sparkles. I'm just going to go back in with this brush. I cleaned it off so that it wouldn't have too much left, but I feel like I just kind of need to smudge it outwards. I think that's better. So I'm going to actually go in with my pinky into Blade, because look at how that picks up here versus with the brush. I'm just going to lightly layer it over. It definitely got way more opaque there. And then doing the same thing with Victory. I'm just curious how much more metallic these will look if I use my finger. Definitely way more metallic. And I'm going to pop that underneath my little lash line. So it's the last shadow in this palette. So now I have used almost everything except for Marshall. Oh, that one is really, really pretty. I think I'm going to go in with Glory as my inner corner highlight for this one as well. Just a little bit, she said. All right. It's got a little bit of like a yellowy, almost brownish base to it. I'm not sure if it's translating. I feel like a certain angle you can kind of start to see it. And here's the second finished look. So upon first impressions, not having used one of the shades, but getting a pretty good feel for the rest of the shadows in here. Love the shimmer choices, love having this beautiful super dimensional topper-like shadow in here. Definitely my favorite shade in here. I think this one would look great paired with this tone, as well as really anything else in here, just like I showed it over in orange, and it looks really, really fun. White is probably my least favorite shadow. I could kind of tell even just from looking at it in the pan and then confirming by swatching it and then confirming using it. It's not really a shadow I would see myself reach for too much, not only because it's kind of like a borderline shimmer shadow, but it's not quite very metallic. So it does have that sheen, it does have that sparkle, but just not exactly my cup of tea. Love all 3 of these right here. Great everyday neutrals. I was a little worried about these 2 mattes down here from just swatching, which I usually don't like to swatch palettes before I film with them for this exact reason, because I don't want to get like the wrong impression and then come in with some feelings. But this shadow did perform absolutely beautifully. It gave me the depth I was looking for. It blended out really nicely. And we're not focusing, apparently. Okay, thank you. But I do, of course, still have to try this one. Got plenty of pigmentation. From Valor and Cavalier is just a little bit more on like a pastel-y side, lighter side. So that one will take a little bit of building up. But overall, I really enjoy creating the 2 looks. And I'm definitely seeing myself dipping into this one. Love the cover art. Love that it's a 9-pan palette. I'm really happy that Fantasy Cosmetica has stuck to the 9-pan palettes. Not saying that I wouldn't want them to do a larger palette, but I feel like they have these really nice curated color stories with 9 pans that doesn't feel too overwhelming. It's just enough. There's always a nice balance of mattes and shimmers, and I think this format has been very successful for them. They also came out with a perfume with this collection that smelled very chocolatey, marshmallowy, very, very sweet. I do like it. It's not necessarily like my scent, but I would wear it, but it wouldn't be kind of a scent for every day for me personally. If you don't like the smell of some things that have like a chocolatey smell, then you probably wouldn't enjoy this one, because in my opinion, it is the most prominent note in that perfume. So let me know in the comments below which look is your favorite, and if you picked this palette up, I would love to hear your thoughts. And that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.